It suddenly happened that I've been playing a lot of local multiplayer games recently, and I thought I'd put this video together to recommend a few. If you're thinking of having a gaming party of your own, these game choices have my seal of approval. So, in no particular order, Stickbold is an arena combat dodgeball game. You can play free for all or in teams, and it's simple to pick up the basics, making it ideal for gaming parties. The gist is that you fight over a dodgeball, which you can throw to make anyone it hits dizzy. Dizziness wears off over time, but if you take a second hit whilst dizzy, you're out. The best bit about Stickbold is that after you get eliminated, you can still influence the game really heavily, unleashing abilities that help or hinder the surviving combatants. These abilities feel a lot more impactful than in other multiplayer games that try the same sort of thing, and that makes them more fun. The single player campaign is actually pretty decent too in this one. The worst bit about Stickbold is the lack of variety. There are only half a dozen levels and only one game mode. That said, it's a really fun game mode, so I'd still highly recommend this game. Next up, you know those games where you have a restaurant and customers who request dishes that you must put together and get out in time to keep them happy? Well, imagine one of those except in 4-player local co-op. In Overcooked, you'll need to work together to make those diners happy and keep your hectic kitchen limping along to the next round. The game creates a situation where you're all shouting at each other. I need onions! Who's doing the washing up? Don't send that out yet, it needs a tomato. The best bit about Overcooked is the clever level design and variety. It forces you to work together. For example, one of you has the onions, but another one has the chopping board, so before you can put them in your soup, they need to be passed around the kitchen a few times. The worst bit is that as you progress through the levels, you get worse and worse. Orders and scores slip as the difficulty ramps up, and one of my friends commented, "This feels like I'm doing work." I think a better way to play it would be to repeat each level until you get the maximum star rating, so that's how I try it next time. I have to mention Towerfall. It's my original favourite multiplayer game, and it's still great. Your little pixel art archers compete with each other in a 2D arena, and it's one shot, one kill. Movement and aim is all on the left stick, and the only other buttons are fire, jump and dodge. It's so simple and games can be over in seconds, but once you get really good at it, battles become super intense with you catching each other's projectiles out of the air and using all the features of the level to try and gain an advantage. The best bit about Towerfall is its incredible simplicity and moorishness. If you pick up the expansion, it also added some decent co-op content which fixed its previous weakness. The worst bit is probably when you die and have to watch other players battling it out with nothing much to do but wait for the next round. When you go out fast a few times in a row, this can become frustrating, but it usually turns around pretty fast as players who are lagging behind get handy boosts like shields at the start of rounds. Rocket League is football with a giant ball played by nippy little cars that can jump, boost and ride up walls. The controls are actually really simple, but mastering them takes skill and practice. It's all about timing your jumps and boosts to get the right angle and propel the ball in vaguely the sort of direction you were hoping for. There's a bit of luck involved and a lot of communication and teamwork, making sure someone has your goal covered whilst others head up to attack, in case the ball somehow catches an unlucky deflection and comes hurtling back down the pitch. The best bit about Rocket League is that the matches are rapid fire at just 5 minutes each, and you get a super satisfying slow motion replay whenever someone scores. I've never cared about actual football in my life, yet I found myself jumping around the room high-fiving my friends when we scored a goal in Rocket League. The worst bit about Rocket League is that it's kinda hard on new players. A player with a few hours experience will wipe the floor with a newbie, so you have to balance your gaming party carefully with some practice time before the matches perhaps. Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes is one for smaller and maybe more sober gaming parties. You have one player with a printed bomb diffusal manual and another who looks at the screen and interacts with a bomb that needs diffusing. The bomb person calls out what they see and the manual person looks up how to deal with it in their book. Now, if you hate logic puzzles and the sorts of games that have you scribbling little notes and calculations on pieces of paper as you go, then you're not going to enjoy Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. However, if like me you're a massive nerd, then you'll love it. The best bit about this game is how genuinely tense it feels. If you make a mistake, the timer speeds up, and so your mistakes snowball. In my group, we'd fail and then immediately be back for another try. I also love any game that gets you using your brain, and learning to get better at Keep Talking throughout the evening of playtime was great. The worst bit about this game is how genuinely tense it feels. I mean, really, it's genuinely stressful. We had 4 of us playing in 2 pairs and rotated around doing 2 bombs each, then taking a break to drink beer. This worked perfectly, and I definitely recommend that as a way of playing without having a breakdown from all of the stress, unless you're not old enough to drink beer, in which case I don't recommend that. Finally, because this is 6 Gamers, we have to have a 6th game, right? Now, I'm totally biased because I worked in a local multiplayer game called Discstorm, so obviously I'd recommend that you try it. Discstorm offers 4-player arena combat with a wide variety of stages and game types. One round might be a single hit kills, whilst the next might be 3 players infected with zombie virus hunting down the 4th player. I won't go through the best and worst bits of Discstorm because I'm horrendously biased, and also because everything about it is great. So there you go. Next time you're thinking of hosting a gaming party, why not fire up a few of these gems and shout at your friends? Thanks for watching, and if you have any other great local multiplayer games you'd like to recommend, let me know in the comments and I'll try to check them out next time I have a party. Bye bye!